going to get started with today. All right. So yeah, thank you for all joining us. This is the Archimedes Agora. It's our monthly community call. We do this the first Thursday of every month. And the purpose of the Agora is just for us to get together as a community and to talk about the updates that we have throughout the talk about the updates we've accomplished throughout the last month, as well as what we're looking at in our roadmap coming down the pipeline. So we're going to be covering all of that today. We have a lovely agenda. We also have some other speakers, as I mentioned before. We have Rafa, our CMO for Archimedes. Also, I believe we have one of our new hires with us. So I'll let him speak briefly. Yeah, but without any further ado, let's get started into the flow of things. So if you're listening to this right now or you're coming in late, please consider giving us a like and follow on Twitter, where we've announced this Agora, and we'll also be sharing this on YouTube afterwards. So if you miss something, you feel like you want to hear it again, we're recording it for those purposes. Cool. All right. So first up, we have been expanding the team a little bit. If you want to build fast, you maybe want to expand. And so I want to introduce our new hires. We have OXKCO over here, or Kyle, if you'd like to say anything.
Hello.
Yeah, thanks. And yeah, Kyle, so, I mean, what are you joining Archimedes for? If you want to give any insight, what you're helping with?
I joined about a month ago now, working as product manager. So you guys may have seen me in the Discord pop in, trying to request you guys get some feedback. That's mainly what I'm focused on here, making sure that the product is going in the right direction, making sure that you guys are pleased with the direction that we're going in. I have 3 years experience in computer engineering, project management. So I'm hoping to bring that experience here and make sure that we're going the right way for you guys.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Kyle. So yeah, expect to see Kyle hanging out in the Discord server. We keep him pretty busy, so he won't be in there as frequently as I am, but we're glad to have Kyle on the team. I don't believe we have Carlos with us today. Probably busy building, but we have also increased our engineering side of the team, so more engineers to help us build out the future of Archimedes. Cool. Moving on, wanted to do our product roadmap. And so actually we have Tomer here to actually help clue us in a little bit on what Archimedes has been doing behind the scenes and, what's maybe coming down the pipeline for our product roadmap.
Thanks, Alvin. Yeah, so we are working hard on V2. We're actually planning to have like a gradual release of features of V2, hopefully starting next month, but we'll see about that. We heard a lot of good feedback, and we heard the community telling us to focus on the more lucrative assets, IPY assets, and we are working towards this direction. But that's all the alpha I'm going to drop for now.
Fair enough. Thank you for that, Tomer. Yeah, V2, we've been trying to, iterate that more and more recently, but yeah, V2 is coming, everybody. And so we're planning for V2 to really address a lot of the concerns that the community has voiced over the last few months. Also, anything that we've seen from the Llama risk assessment from the Curve risk team, Llama risk team, just looking to address all of those and really make a solid DeFi product. And it's with your help, so thank you. That's always the goal here at Archimedes. We have more on that to come as we go through today's Agora. Hint. Yeah, next up, we have Rafa, our CMO, who's going to be giving us some marketing and biz dev update on things.
Hey everyone, thanks Alvin. Yeah, there's a lot of new exciting stuff coming up down the pipeline for both marketing and biz dev. On the marketing side, Alvin has been leading AMAs with different communities out there. Has been doing a great job. So this week we had one. Coming the next weeks, we're gonna have a few other ones, and we'll announce specific ones and dates over the next few days for the next ones. And then we also have partnerships with Biffy and Harvest Finance already announced the previous month, beginning of this month. With other ones coming up for both LPs and LTs. So those are still under discussion and kind of like understanding really what the integration would look like. But potentially high profile projects out there for this type of partnership that we're looking for here. So potentially Reverse Finance, maybe Pendle, Alchemix, and other ones that we're talking to. So don't take notice of those. Don't take true literally at this point. We're still talking to them and closing some of these, but we're gonna announce them as soon as possible. Alvin, do you wanna let the community know exactly which AMAs are coming up, which ones are scheduled yet, or?
I don't want to jump too much into the different AMAs, but we do have a few other ones coming down the pipeline from some other connections you've maybe seen us in some Twitter Spaces with. So we are talking with a few different influencers behind the scenes. I know people want to know, is Archimedes actually doing any marketing with influencers and building up those relationships? And the answer is we are. So we're talking with Coffee and Crypto. We're talking with Because Bitcoin. We're talking with DAO Chemist consistently. We're talking with DeFi Raiders. We're talking with DeFi Dojo. There's a bunch of people that we are speaking with, and a bunch of other influencers and threaders that we're working with to try and just build out a better content situation for you guys and get that information to you. So all those are not solidified as far as like dates and times for things, but these are relationships that we're building and working on. Just wanted to share with you guys so that there is some insight into the fact that yes, we are actually listening to you and we are taking action on these things. And now it's just a matter of matching up these relationships we've built with some of the alpha that we plan to drop. And somebody just came in. I think you're unmuted. If you are considering asking any questions or anything like that, please hold your questions to the end or ask them in chat. You have a chat on the side, and maybe Rafa, let me know if I'm missing anything in chat, any questions that come up, and we can answer those. Totally. But we plan to do a total Q&A session at the end of today's Agora.
Sorry, I just wanted to add that if anybody has any community that you want to see us being part of as far as AMA goes, please send us our way. Also partnerships, if there's any type of partnerships that you think it would be helpful for the community or for Archimedes, please also suggest, and we'll talk to you and to the team to see how that integration could work.
Right, exactly. Yeah, thank you. And we also just had an AMA this week, if you guys missed it. So obviously this is our Agora, but earlier this week we had an AMA with James Pelton over on YouTube. So it's a great AMA with Oz, the co-founder, CEO of Archimedes, and James Pelton, live on the air. So nothing pre-rehearsed or recorded, first time meeting each other. It was great energy, and Oz did a great job of explaining things about Archimedes. And also, as a little tidbit, he threw in some alpha there. There's some alpha that only exists in that AMA, actually. I've never seen it talked about or written anywhere else except for Oz mentioning it in that AMA. Wink, wink. So something to look back at. All right, moving forward, we have our next section, which is typically our nerdy topic of the day. I was thinking about switching this up, maybe calling it, our Greeky topic, but it's all the same. I just feel like Greeky is a little bit more on brand with what we do, what we are here. But this is just to announce that this month we are starting up a new engagement campaign. So this is for the diehard Greeks out there that love them some Archimedes. Yeah, we're starting up a new engagement campaign. So what does that mean exactly? We're just gamifying the system for engagement with Archimedes, Twitter, Agora, YouTube videos, all of the different things that we do, all the different announcements we have. Just gamifying the entire thing with a leaderboard point system that'll be run via Zelly. So more news on that specific leaderboard point system coming out. And then, as mentioned earlier today, we're running a Galaxy campaign. So there'll be more campaigns like today's Agora Galaxy campaign that will be tied into the Zelly for leaderboard points. And our goal with that is to reward the most engaged users, and also to incentivize people to make content about Archimedes. So that's threads, YouTube videos, infographics, memes, etc. We want to see what the community has, and we figured maybe you need a little boost to do so. So that's what that's about. I was about to say more, but I'll save that for the next portion of things. But that's what you have to look forward to. Also, I wanted to mention our previous campaigns. So we also have we had the Greek Army campaign from the past, and this is a specific campaign where people were offered Arch tokens. This is well before the Archimedes started. or launched on mainnet. And so we are looking to reward the Greek army. So we're looking to transfer the funds for reward end of this week and have those sent out to all Greek army participants by no later than the end of next week. Yeah, so that's to kind of like coincide with us starting up the next campaign. We wanted to make sure we got all that ironed out, and just wanted to let everybody know that we've been working behind the scenes to make that process as seamless as possible, so that with any other campaigns in the future where we're giving away Arch tokens or whatever other tokens, it'll be a really smooth process that doesn't take so long. You don't have to be asking when. So there's that. All right. Moving in and moving nice and speedy today, but moving into our next topic. This is our deep dive topic of the day. So this is where we get into the juicy meat and potatoes of the Agora. This is where the real alphas drop. We already dropped some alpha, and I gave you a little hint that Oz dropped some alpha in that James Pelton AMA. Check that out on YouTube. But I feel like this is maybe what you came for. And so for today's deep dive, we're talking about Archimedes continuing to move to a fully decentralized organization, a DAO. So we are continuing our movement to that. Yeah, actually, you see that link there. Can you share that in chat for me, Rafa? But what does that mean, and what's the first component of this? Well, we've mentioned it before in our tokenomics thread, but Arch is getting more utility coming with V2, and in fact, before we get, all of what I would consider all of V2, or before 2.0 of Archimedes comes out, we are expecting to have veARCH out before that. And so what I can let you know right now is that it is in development. We're pretty close to done on that front. So veARCH should be very soon. And if you want more information on what all is included in veARCH and what we're considering for that, I believe Rafa just dropped the link for that in the chat for this Agora. We'll also have this link below today's YouTube video so that you can learn more about veARCH. But it's you stake Arch, get veARCH. There's a bunch of different utilities that we're considering for veARCH, like project revenue share, so real yield from veARCH, boosting your yields, etc. Was that? Wasn't sure if that was Rafa. Oh no, sorry. KSM. Yeah, and if you're thinking of any questions while we're mentioning this, please hang on to those. We're going to open this up to a complete Q&A session at the end of today, or write those in chat, and we'll get to those questions that way. Cool. So other than veARCH, or the second part of veARCH, I should say, today, the way that I wanted to kind of frame this to you is that Llama Risk, the Llama Risk team from Curve, recently put out a risk assessment for Archimedes, and they do this for all these different projects. But one of the things that was mentioned in the Llama risk assessment was that the team should work on less team governance and handing some of that over to the community. And so I feel like that kind of works in tandem with what we just mentioned with veARCH, where VE stands for, vote escrowed Arch tokens. And so all that to say that with this new with veARCH coming out sooner than expected, and with Llama Risk, mentioned this, we are starting the full governance process. Probably a lot sooner than most people were expecting. So we're starting our governance process via Discord forums on Archimedes. So if you are an Archimedes Discord member, you will be able to take part in Archimedes governance as we transition to a fully decentralized organization. So we're starting that process of things. For coming up with the ideas, the ideations, those will be held specifically in Discord. And for now, we might look to change that in the future. And that can be proposed by different individuals with their ideas or proposals. But for now, that'll be happening in Discord. And once an ideation moves from Discord, we will be voting on that via an official proposal on Snapshot. So Snapshot is where the veARCH token holders will get to play as far as their voting goes. Yeah, and so the intent here is just for us to continue that transition or on our path to fully decentralized. When does this all start? For that Arch governance is going to start, the forums specifically will start this upcoming Monday. So May the 8th, we'll start those. And it'll be early in the morning. We'll give people access to the forums. I'm going to let Rafa speak a little bit more to the specifics of Arch governance and the governance process. But that's just I feel like that's the big thing here is veARCH is coming down the pipeline. It'll be shortly after we open up the governance forums. So just expect that's coming. But the big takeaway here is that governance is starting this upcoming Monday, so we can, every member of the community can begin proposing ideas, getting those pulled on, etc.
Yeah, thanks, Owen. This is very exciting. Monday, we're starting the process with the forums. So first, to participate in the forums, you need to gain the citizen role, which can be achieved by engaging in the community here in Discord. Just sending relevant information or relevant questions to the community and engaging in a meaningful way that in how it's related to the product in that engagement. So you can get the role by doing those kind of things. Once you get the role, you can also participate in the ideation forum. So the process that it works is we're going to have a few steps in the entire process. First, the ideation, where any individual with the citizen role can submit an idea. Then there will be 7 days for feedback around that specific idea from the community itself. Once that's done, the person who submitted that ideation will be able to then summarize the feedback, retweak their idea, and submit for governance polling. So there will be also another 7 days period for governance polling. Once that governance polling is done with 75% of approval from the community at that point, just community sentiment in general, then we'll do that for snapshot voting. And that's gonna be happening with veARCH. For every veARCH that you hold, that will mean certain. The baseline is one voting power, but it depends on how long you're gonna be staking Arch. We're gonna be releasing some more information later today on the documents, and we're gonna publish that here in Discord and also in Twitter, so you can read specifics about the governance process. But nonetheless, I would love to hear more questions here about the governance process. I think we're up for Q&A, right, Owen? And I see already there are a couple of questions here from Guzman in the chat.
Yeah. So I can read off the first questions that I see over in the chat, and this is time for Q&A. So I don't think is there a raise your hand button? Yeah. Just let us know in the chat if you'd like to speak, so that we don't get anybody speaking over the top of each other, but we'd like to have anybody up who would like to speak or ask a question. Feel free to unmute, and we'll get you. First, I'm going to read this Guzman question, which is, there's been slight mention of early contributor rewards. What's the timeline on that? And so by early contributor, I believe you mean like maybe the early engagement campaigns. I know that's often what I see people referencing when they're talking about early contributor rewards. And that, again, the timeline on that is we wanted to send all the funds over to the account to reward people by the end of this week. And by end of next week, we'll be sending those out. So we have everything wrapped up on the back end. On our side of things, it was just making sure that we could get this, have this be a smooth process. And I wanted to make sure we weren't completing before we kind of continue that process. So again, we're starting up another engagement campaign here. And I wanted to make sure that for any other future rewards, we also had that process solidified. So that's not include LPs, etc. I think that's in reference to the early contributor. No, yeah, that's not including LPs. So yeah, nothing like no type of airdrop or early contributor campaign in that sense. What else can the community expect? I.e., eligibility criteria, snapshot period, etc. I feel like Rafa did a pretty good job at explaining that, and so I'll let you take over some if I don't cover it all. But yeah, for eligibility, everybody that is a member of the Archimedes Discord server and gets that citizen role is eligible to participate in governance at some level. And then all Discord members, even if you're not the citizen role, so even if you just came in out of curiosity, you should still be able to view the governance channel, which is currently blocked until Monday, but you'll be able to view the governance channel and read proposals or read ideations, which are like early proposals. So you'll be able to read the ideations, you'll be able to check out the chat and all this stuff, but you won't be able to actually vote on anything or propose anything until you get that citizen role. And then after things have become an official proposal, so after they made their way out of the forum, that's when you'll need veARCH. So at that point in time, the voting will happen between veARCH token holders on Snapshot. So anybody can have a voice in the community as part of the DAO. However, only veARCH holders will be making those on-chain voting decisions. Cool. Let me scroll up and make sure there's no other questions that I might have missed there. And Rafa, if you feel like I missed anything, please chime in.
No, I think you talked through everything. So yeah, I think in summary, two main things coming up next few weeks there is governance starting next week, and then soon, without specific timeline yet, but we should expect weeks instead of months. We're talking about the veARCH launch and enabling on-chain voting together with the governance process.
Right. And I feel like those are what Rafa just mentioned there. Those are like the two big like soon to come things. Like those are probably the quickest to like, well, you turn around and here it is. It's already here. However, there's a lot more coming down the pipeline, which we mentioned earlier in today's Agora, such as our partnerships, all of V2 rolling out, and some of the things that are coming with V2, which again, some of it's mentioned in the tokenomics thread, which Rafa shared in the chat, and some of these other things we'll be sharing with you shortly. Also, as we wrap things up, I want to mention that, as Rafa said before, the specific documentation and things like announcements for the governance process will be coming out today. So look out for those. Share those around on Twitter. There'll be a Medium post. There'll be a tweet coming out, Discord announcement. So share those so that other people can grab some of that alpha. And yeah, we're really excited. So hopefully you are too. Yeah, if there are no other questions, I'm going to wrap up today's Agora and give it a second, see if anybody wants to mute, say anything, or type anything in chat. But otherwise, we're going to be out of here. All right, that's looking like it. Again, thank you all for attending. We do this the first Thursday of every month. This is our community call. You're welcome to speak. And if for whatever reason you didn't get time in to say something during the Agora, well, there's always chat, and soon there will be governance forums. So come up with those ideas. And that's it from us today.
I do want to.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you. I do want to say there's also chat governance, but also feel free to DM me with any more technical feedback or even just suggestions that you guys may have, or you're not comfortable with sharing here. You don't want to talk on voice. You can remain anonymous with me. You can DM me, give me suggestions, whatever you guys want. So my DMs are open.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, Kyle's been really receptive to meeting with different individuals in the community, getting that feedback from you guys. So yeah, if you want direct team contact as well, feel free to reach out. All right, as I was saying before, that's going to wrap it up for today's Agora. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you in some of these AMAs coming up, so look out for those announcements. New leverage round coming up this Monday. And yeah, we'll see you guys also next month for our next Agora.